I'm Siu Ying, as Karen's already introduced me. I'm in charge of acquisitions and metadata at UAL. We, as Karen has already mentioned, quite a lot of our materials are quite unique, but also quite a lot of it's not. It's just regular books. Our current main supplier at the moment is ProQuest, so, and our librarians do their own ordering. Now, for a long time, when we first worked with BDS, it wasn't quite the automated dream we had. You know, the orders come in, we get the mark records coming in automatically and so on. So it was a long process being early adopters, as Karen has already said, 18 months or so, around about that time. Now, if you look at this particular diagram, and I want to draw your attention to the lines that have the arrow lines with the blue text above. Okay, those are the bits that we work in collaboration with BDS. Those are the bits that we work with BDS overall every day. So when we first started, my team had the option to either get the mark files from the BDS from the FTP server, or they could email them to us. And we chose the email option because it was so much easier, we didn't have to log online. And it was just basically grab the mark files and manually import them into our LMS Cohort, day by day, every single day. Now, eventually after 18 months, it worked. The automation, it was a lot of conversations between BDS, UAL, myself in particular, and our systems librarian in particular, and then also with our main book supplier as well, ProQuest, who we get print books as well as ebooks from. So eventually it worked after all these many conversations, and with I'm going to have to bring in PTFS as well, who helps us to support Cohort. So they're a company that we employ to help us with Cohort. They created a special script for us, and what they do is they look at all the incoming quotes from the Oasis platform, that is the ordering platform for ProQuest. And then this particular script would grab the ISBNs from the incoming quotes and send them to BDS's FTP server. And then at a specified time during the day, the script would go back to the FTP server, find what files have been left there for us to retrieve, and it would automatically download those files and automatically upload those files as well into Cohort. So from beginning to end, my team doesn't look at those records whatsoever. And then, now, if there are full records, that's all fine, but occasionally there might be the odd titles that didn't have the right records. So that's when the CRP records comes in. We just wanted to make sure as many titles as possible that we've ordered had records. So CRP records were brought up to standard, and then using the same automated method, those files would be grabbed and then imported into Cohort for us as well, or same automated method, beginning to end, nothing to do with my team whatsoever, unless something's gone horribly technically wrong. And then there might be the odd random occasion where there are no records whatsoever. So in those cases, they just simply, when the books come to us, delivered from ProQuest, we would just put those books aside for our assistant librarians to catalogue. I don't really like to call them cataloguers because they do so many things besides just cataloguing. Okay. And that's why you see the dotted line going back up from no records available all the way back up to skeletal records on the old pack, because until the book's delivered, we can't do anything about that. But these are on the homework, mainly regular books, regular ebooks, so hopefully we will have a full record. Okay, and then the next workflow we have is what I personally like to call semi-automated, in the fact that our suppliers, some of our suppliers I would say, not all, in particular ACC Art Books, who we buy a lot of exhibition catalogues from, through standing orders. And also, as Heather mentioned earlier, Overdrive. So those are e-books and audiobooks, e-resources online. So those two particular suppliers would send our order details to BDS, who probably knows what we've ordered before we do, quite often, because we don't know what's being delivered until we actually see the invoices quite often. So if things have not been done the right way around, by the time we receive those order details, those invoices from these two suppliers, the marked record should normally be already on BDS's FTP server for us to retrieve. And this bit is a manual process. We do actually have to go online, and somebody has to humanly download it. And then what we do is also add the item record details. For Koha, it's a 952 field. And then just to make sure when we import into Koha, both the bid records and the item records are already there in Koha all in one. Now, sometimes things might be done the wrong way around. Timing's not right. So it could be that we've received the order details first before BDS, so there are no marked records for us to retrieve. In that case, we would go on the email to Heather quickly and just say, Heather, where are these records? And usually quite quickly, usually within a week or so, Heather would come back to and say to us that these records are now ready, please go and get them. Okay, so that's one method. And then we have two manual methods. In that manual that we actually have to give the ISBNs to BDS first manually before we can get the marked records. So the first manual method is, so quite a lot of the items that we buy are specialists. We simply just cannot buy them from ProQuest. So we use Amazon a lot for maybe out of print items, or we use a credit card. We have 2 credit cards. I think Karen keeps telling me that's quite unusual for an academic institution. I don't know if it is or not, but she says so. So we buy these items from anywhere in the world. And quite often they would just end up in the cataloguing queue waiting for one of our assistant librarians to catalogue them. But every so often we would see that the queue's building up, and it's like, is there anything we can do to reduce it? And then we say, well, quite a lot, some of those items are actually got ISBNs, they are published after 2010, and they're in English or in multiple languages, but with English as the main language. So we thought, oh, let's risk it and see if BDS have the records. So we would scan the ISBNs into a text file, upload the text file to BDS FTP server, and usually within the same day there might be a marked file waiting for us, and we would download and import into Koha. Now, if there are no records found for certain titles, there's nothing we can do about it, so those items would still just remain in the queue. Okay, and then the next manual method is for donations. We have lots and lots of donations, but these usually are, whether to accept them or not, they're decided by the librarians. So the donations are usually delivered to the librarians at the colleges, college libraries, rather than to our central team. So we don't see them unless they are sent to us for cataloguing. Now, we started, I wanted to reduce that back and forth between the colleges and my central team. So at one point I thought, can we use BDS for this as well? So we just created a spreadsheet and asked each library to go through their donations and tell them what the criteria was for UniCat, and said that if you've got anything within this criteria, published after 2010, English, and so on and so forth, just put the ISBNs in on this spreadsheet, and then once a week we would grab those ISBNs, put them into a text file, upload them into the BDS FTP server. So same method as what I described earlier for the last manual one. So we would either get marked records or not get marked records. So if we do, we would download, import into Koha, and if we have no records, then we have to go back to the good old-fashioned way. Please send us a book for book in hand cataloguing. So hopefully that gives you an insight into the main workflows we have with BDS. And just to finish this off, here are some of the lovely items that our assistant librarians have to catalogue every single day. Mostly they're older than me because I don't catalogue as much now. And as you can see, some of these items don't even have titles on them, let alone ISBNs. And if we lose those slips of paper, we don't even know what the items are called. And you know, some assistant librarians spend a lot of time looking for appropriate subject headings. And just making sure that they have the right information, even the right publication information. So you can see, it's for us at UL, it's quite important to free up that staff time to deal with this specialist material instead of cataloguing books that BDS can supply us records for, which we're very grateful for. Thank you.